Top 25 Family Guy characters.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
14.
Number 14, Chris Griffin. The middle child of the Griffin clan may be the dumbest 15-year-old ever made, which we benefit much more from than he. More Ralph Wiggum than Bart Simpson, Chris is a firm believer in getting to the funny via the most complicated way possible. For example, he believed that converting to Judaism would boost his grades in math. He also tickled his brain after sticking an army man's rifle up his nose and making contact with a lobe. When he's not turning stupid into a character strength, he occasionally offers sound, coherent sage advice regarding the situation Peter's failing at this week. Oh, and he's also living in constant fear of the evil monkey. That alone puts him high on our list. And while he isn't as loathed as his sister Meg, Chris does receive his fair share of hate. After all, he was an accident baby, the product of a broken condom, something his folks are quick to remind him. Quick-tempered and dim-witted, Chris never made laughing at someone so moronic as him so much fun. Number 13, Cleveland Brown. Cleveland is the quiet, token African-American member of Peter's posse of friends. He can frequently be seen joining the gang for a brew at the Clam, but he rarely, if ever, becomes as boisterously drunk as his friends. Cleveland is content to sit back and watch the world go by. Hurrying just isn't in his vocabulary. His favorite pastime is soaking in the tub, something that tends to end badly whenever Peter gets up to his shenanigans. Whether Peter is showing off his pet giraffe or playing with a tank, the end result is always the same. Cleveland's house is demolished, his tub teeters over the edge, and Cleveland cries out no, 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 before plummeting to the ground. At some point you'd think he'd learn to just take a shower or something. Cleveland is also the owner of a local deli. Again, not very exciting. He used to enjoy a happy family life until his wife, Loretta, cheated on him with best friend Quagmire. It was a tough road, but Cleveland eventually pulled himself out of his funk, sent Loretta packing, and patched up his friendship with Quagmire. Cleveland also has a son named Cleveland Jr., a hyperactive little boy who seems to possess all the energy Cleveland himself lacks. Apparently Cleveland did something about the boy, because he hasn't been so much as glimpsed in the last several seasons. Father and son will both go on to take a much more prominent role when the Cleveland show hits airwaves this fall. The simple fact that Cleveland is the first Family Guy character to receive his own spin-off is testament enough to his character quality. It remains to be seen whether he can truly thrive on his own and away from Peter and the gang, but we'll be watching to see how he fares down south.
12.
Number 12, Lois Griffin. Lois Griffin is almost invariably the voice of reason amid the chaos that is the Griffin family. It's Lois who keeps the household functioning. When Peter is off getting into shenanigans, Meg is busy moping in her room, and Stewie is off plotting the destruction of some person or another. Being a sitcom mom is always a full-time job, but for Lois it becomes something even more. By all rights Lois should be leading the easy life. Her parents are among the richest people in America. However, Lois chose love over money when she agreed to marry Peter Griffin. The rotund towel boy managed to shimmy his way into Lois's heart. Why she stays with him despite all his crazy schemes and ridiculous games is anyone's guess. We can't figure it out. She seems to be the only person in creation who finds his occasionally lame jokes funny, so maybe that has something to do with it. Lois is far more than just a homemaker. Her side job as a piano teacher betrays her secret wish to become a successful concert pianist. Lois has constantly been denied the chance for fame and success in her life. Sometimes this causes her to lash out in various humorous ways. Mostly it just causes her to suppress her rage, which tends to lead to equally humorous results. But that allows for Lois to let off steam in various adults-only ways. She enjoys a very kinky sex life with Peter, where the two do everything from dressing in bondage gear to role-playing as various pop culture characters. One of Peter's favorite outfits for Lois is a grimace costume, which is just wrong. She's a warm, loving wife and mother, but also a wild and sometimes sex-crazed harlot. In many ways she's actually the most complex character on the show. Complexity may not get you far in Family Guy, but it counts for something in our book.
11.
Number 11, Meg Griffin. We hate Meg Griffin, but that is why we love her. The fifth wheel of the Griffin family, Meg is the black sheep who just doesn't fit in anywhere. Voiced by Lacey Chabert, uncredited, in the first season, and Mila Kunis in subsequent seasons, Meg Griffin is depicted as a social outcast who hasn't been able to find a niche anywhere in Quahog. In the first few seasons Meg was a beloved member of the family, but as the show went on, and explored who the characters were, and where the comedy really lied in their personalities, a whole new view of Meg emerged. Now hated by her family, we are more likely to see Peter shoot his daughter, in Peter's Daughter, than run to her aid, in Don't Make Me Over. While in the first few seasons Meg might not have even made a best of list, it would be Seth MacFarlane pushing the line with mean-spirited humor with the character, which has taken Meg from boring side character, and made her into a hilarious whipping post for the Griffins. Sure, we feel bad for the character, but the hatred for Meg is so deep and obvious that we can't help but laugh every time Peter shouts, "Shut up, Meg." Number 10, Evil Monkey. Much like the beloved Ollie Williams, the evil monkey is a character that Family Guy rarely uses, but that is what has kept him fresh and funny even after all this time. Starting out as a side gag which riffed on the monster that lives in children's rooms, Chris's greatest fear is an evil finger-pointing monkey who seems to live in his closet. But he wasn't always evil. The chain-smoking evil monkey once had a good life and a good wife, but one day he came home and caught her cheating, leaving an angry shell of the monkey that once was. Still, after all the harassment that the monkey has doled out over the years, he got his comeuppance when he tried to scare Brian's son Dylan, leading to him getting his butt kicked bad. All is well though, as the evil monkey made it out of the beating just fine, as proved in the episode A Bag of Weed. Regardless of his history on the show, the evil monkey has worked his way into the hearts of Family Guy fans. And, really, how can you not like an evil monkey who does nothing but sneer and point accusingly? Number 9, Joe Swanson. Bring it on, to quote Quahog's resident receiver of the permanent front row parking space. This Spooner Street resident makes up the foursquare of buddies Peter calls friends, but we might as well count his wheelchair as fifth, and his useless lifeless legs as sixth. Most of the characters' humor and best gags come at their expense, as Joe's handicap furthers FG's goal to make practitioners of political correctness blush. This is most evident in the story of Joe Begins. Joe received his paralyzing injury at Christmas, investigating a robbery at an orphanage, with the perp being none other than the Grinch. One slip off a roller skate and down a roof left Joe with a busted spine and no walkie. To add insult to permanent injury, Joe regained mobility, only to have his son, Kevin, run into him and make Joe paralyzed once more. That Lifetime movie-ish plot is the stuff of comedy gold for the sick minds of Family Guy. Without them, we wouldn't have Joe and his awesome tendency to best most of Quahog's accomplished fighters in CQC. We wouldn't have his legs floating, repeatedly, to the surface of the gang's beer bath. And we wouldn't have our number 9 pick. Number 8, Ernie the Giant Chicken. Kirk had Khan. Luke had Vader. Peter has Ernie, the Giant Chicken. And you're some kind of wrong person if you don't laugh in the wee hours at the sight of a brutish chicken with a hell of a left cross fighting Peter to the death. Ernie is as consistent as he is unrelenting. His mo is as follows: interrupt episode mid-scene, furrow his brow, narrow his beak, and proceed to beat the living hell out of Peter. We're talking rolling through the streets, old-fashioned fisticuffs. They always end the same. Peter gets up, thinking he is victorious, but it's Ernie who gets the last laugh, and then the first punch in their next fight. Ernie has survived a fall from a 10-story window, an airplane propeller decapitation and a peaceful dinner, to settle their grievances which resulted in more face pummeling. For a rivalry that started over a coupon, Ernie has become a welcomed addition to the Family Guy brand of funny. Sure, he's one note, but, again, U equals wrongness, if that one joke doesn't make you laugh every time.
Yeah.